Good morning, Facebook. Let me just go live on Instagram and YouTube. One second. How are you all doing? I'm just going to wait for you guys to tune in. Good morning, Instagram, YouTube. Welcome in. If this is your first time, welcome. Um, and comment, let me know where you're tuning in from if this is your first time, so I can give a shout out. Okay, I'm just putting my phone numbers in here. Good morning, Jumanji. Good morning. Chef Pascal, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. My name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia. I represent clients all over the United States with their immigration matters. We handle family immigration. So that includes, filing for your spouse, your children, parents, fiance visas, consular processing, removal of conditions, naturalization. We also handle humanitarian based cases like VAWA for victims of abuse by their U.S. citizen or green card holder relatives, trafficking visas, which are for labor trafficking, commercial sex trafficking. And also we handle EU visas, which are for victims of a serious crime. Who have worked with law enforcement to basically apprehend the criminal. And we also handle removal proceedings, basically deportation defense. If you want to schedule a consult, our number is on the ticker on Facebook and YouTube. On Instagram, it's pinned right there. It's 678-325-1037 or 678-233-2170. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404 333 8751. And you can also book your consult directly on our website, chidowaylaw.com/booking. Or comment yes on our Instagram Live if you would like us to assist you with your immigration. Okay, let's get right into it. Someone is asking, how long is the process for getting your papers through marriage? Right now, I would say that marriage-based green cards are taken the fastest of any other immigration category, meaning they're even going faster than naturalization. This is as of this year. I just prepped a client last night whose interview is next week, and we submitted his application in March. So we are seeing anywhere from 2 to 5 months from submission, if you submitted in 2026, being scheduled for interviews. So we're seeing a lot of that. And then another thing that I observed yesterday, I do get some USCIS notifications for certain of my clients when any kind of processing is done. Yesterday and the day before, I saw a mass processing of fingerprints for clients from countries that initially had the adjudicative pause, which has been lifted. Like when I say a mass amount of emails, like I got over 20 emails for different clients, and what they had in common is that they're from those countries, which means that they're either getting ready to either make decisions on those cases, schedule them for interviews or whatever it is. But it was definitely noteworthy to see, that they were doing that. So hopefully those people can either be scheduled for interviews right away, or decisions can be made on, whatever it is that they have pending. We are continuing to see this week lots of work permits and travel permits being issued for people who were previously on pause. So hopefully, if you're one of those waiting and you are within the timeline, hopefully you'll get it. On Fridays, I kind of started to post more on Fridays just about, the countries that we've seen. So you can check our post on Friday to see if your country is there. Sanderson says, my favorite attorney. Thank you. St. Louis Crystal says, I have a good question. Sure, you can go ahead and type a question. Good morning, Tamara. Noor says, how are you doing? Thank you. I'm doing good. Omar, good morning as well. Why are EAD replacements taking 1 year? That's just what USCIS is doing. I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. That's just what USCIS is doing. If I had an answer, or if I could control that, I would let you know. It sucks, but that's what EADs are taking. They are taking that long, not just for renewals, for new EADs. Like I mentioned, or even for those who file marriage-based cases, they're getting their green cards approved before they can even get their work permits, which is annoying, quite frankly. Why is it annoying? Because you make these people pay the filing fee, make us process this work permits, and prepare this work permits, and you schedule them for the interview, and they can't even, use it. Because in the past, you get your work permit within 4 to 6 months, but right now they've changed that. So when people ask me those questions, I don't know the answer. Only USCIS knows why it's taken that long to process it, because personally, I don't think it should take that long, but that's just what they're doing. But again, like I just said, I just saw a mass fingerprinting reprocessing, which means that it could be because of the new system that they have that are just reprocessing. Like when I tell you that they're reprocessing stuff, I mean it. I had someone schedule a consult who the person is just on a tourist visa. And while on a tourist visa, they discovered or received a notification that their visa, their tourist visa had been revoked. And come to find out that the person had a law enforcement incident about maybe like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So that's a long time, but in the reprocessing of the fingerprints, because the person's incident happened here in the US, this came to light, because that's just the stance that this administration is taking. So if you're an immigrant who is waiting for your paperwork, who's a green card holder, I shouldn't even have to say this, but you should stay away from trouble. Stay away from committing any crime, stay away from being in a position where you're accused of committing any crime, whether that's a misdemeanor, whether that's a felony. Just try to mind your business and stay out of trouble, because there are different things where before you call it a petty one-time offense, but now you have them being basically the thing that destroys your ability to live in the United States. So be very, very careful. Stay law abiding. Okay. Good morning. I'm dealing with severe PTSD. My doctor renewal sent me for biometrics. I'm scared. Also, I have a VAWA application. I received a second prima facie. It's a lot. Depression. Sorry to hear about the depression. I'm hoping that you are able to get some counseling, that might help you, with coping with it. You should go for your biometrics. Biometrics is required for them to continue processing your case if they request it. Some people that have had previous approvals, even for some of those people, some people are getting new biometrics because either maybe something else happened or whatever it is. So go to your biometrics. That's what I would recommend. You should be okay to go to your biometrics. Enforcement is kind of changing, and then I'm sure you guys heard in the news or saw in my post yesterday where with the recent deaths of those who unfortunately have been killed, whether they were the targets or not the targets, people shouldn't be killed for immigration enforcement. These are human lives. It's not like you're killing ants. So because of that, the current administration has said that ICE is going to temporarily stop chasing people in vehicles, which should have been done a long time ago. But but again, you should be able to go for your biometrics. I filed for VAWA application since December of 2025. I haven't received my receipt notice. I would be curious where you sent your VAWA application. So we were seeing those types of delays for cases that were filed in Lincoln, Nebraska. But if you didn't file in Lincoln, Nebraska, and you filed after September, you should have something. You might need to, because if you sent it in December, you can't even track it because USPS stops showing proof of delivery after 4 months, and they might not, or they probably will not acknowledge that on the phone because it's a VAWA application. So the first thing I would do is I would want to know is, well, did you track it? Was it delivered? You might have to send like a snail mail. If you're working with an attorney, they can try the attorney hotline to see if they can locate that. If it was a lockbox, you can also try to send the email to the lockbox to see if they can find your application. Can a 10-year green card holder file for parents out of country? No, a green card holder cannot file for their parents in or outside the country. In order for you to file for your parents, you have to be a United States citizen. Okay. I think Shanice, the Jamaican, you've asked me. I've seen a few other questions about the E80, why it's taking so long. So I already answered that. I don't know. Jordan says, "Go. Is it normal to go for biometrics for DACA? Go for your biometrics. You better make sure you go for your biometrics. Your case will be denied if you don't go. Go to your biometrics. It's normal now that people are getting duplicate biometrics. It's normal that people are getting duplicate biometrics. That's why. You know." Someone says you're not alone in therapy right now. Listen, all of us could use it. You guys think that we lawyers, you don't know how stressed out we are. Like, you have no idea. Like, we're all dealing with anxiety. Like, it is such a burden to carry people's problems, on your head, like where you can't sleep, trying to think of solutions for people, how to help people, even in things that we didn't create or control. Like, I didn't make the decision for anyone to come into the States. I didn't make the decision for people to overstay. I didn't make the decision for people to, misrepresent themselves where they need a waiver. But every day, I have to worry about, not only myself, my children, my spouse. I'm still grieving, as you guys know. I lost my brother, and I lost my father-in-law like just 2 months ago. And then I have to carry the burden of this administration and how that impacts my clients, because for whatever they do, I have to absorb that. I have to take the stress. I have to be the one to give the answer to you guys. Why is there the delay? Even though I have no control of it, I have no control of the laws. I am just a messenger and doing the best that I can, just like every other attorney is, but we don't get any grace. We're just kind of like, this, now. But you guys, sometimes it feels as though people don't stop and put themselves in our shoes, and the burden we're carrying, like on every single day. Like, I work till like 11 o'clock at night every single day, almost every day. Like, it's not even healthy for me. But because I am going through and reviewing and revising, because everything is urgent. I'm trying to get people out of detention. I'm trying to get people out of removal proceedings. I'm trying to get people their green cards. I'm trying to get people their work permits. I'm trying to make sure that they're not a danger to themselves, so I'm a therapist. I'm doing everything, so it's not easy, for anyone, but you have to look on the bright side, as Monica said, you're not the only one dealing with it. Everybody is anxious. And quite frankly, I feel like there's such a dark energy right now in the world, in the United States. There's a very dark energy, and not just in immigration. There's a lot of darkness. Like, I have people in the medical field who feel the same way, like it's just a lot. Like, I literally have to find ways to disconnect. Like, my anxiety has never been this high, just again, because the stakes are so high, and sometimes, it requires one to say, no, you shouldn't apply. You're not eligible for something. Or if you apply right now, you get placed in removal proceedings. Or, nobody can guarantee you anything, because we're all doing the best we can. Sometimes you have office, and then right now we're seeing people USCIS make so many mistakes. It's insane. Like, this is my 10th year of owning this practice. I have never seen the amount of mistakes, and it is frustrating because the clients yell at us and take out their anger on us for something. I'll give you an example. USCIS requests RFE, sends an RFE request, says RFE is due June 16th. RFE gets to USCIS and they sign off on the delivery receipt on June 4th. So 12 days before, whatever it is, 12 days before the deadline. What happens? Send a denial letter saying we didn't get the RFE, even though they signed for it. And their system updated it saying that we don't need anything else from you after we sent it. But guess who's going to be yelled at first until you explain it? Me. So you're not the only one dealing with stress. We're all stressed out, okay? But we will survive. Okay, let me keep going. Yeah, they want to stress people out so they give up. I can't tell you how many of my colleagues have decided, you know what? F everybody. I quit. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't tell you how many, and I don't blame them, because it takes a lot to deal with other people's problems. But again, most of us that choose to be lawyers, we're natural empaths. You feel sorry for people, you want to help, whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah, someone says, I applied in 2022 and I'm still waiting. Yeah, a lot of the people from 2022 are still waiting. A lot of them, you will be getting an interview most likely. We are getting a lot of the 2022 people. Those are the people that we're seeing getting their I-360 interview. You guys know that there is a high rate of VAWA fraud right now. And so USCIS is not playing around. Like, they are scheduling people for interviews. They want to know, how you found out about VAWA. They want to know that you have a legitimate VAWA case. They want to make sure there's no fraud involved. So that takes time. You remember, there's only one unit. There's only one unit making the decision on VAWA cases, unlike every other case where in each state you have several field offices in different states. But there's only one unit in the entire US that makes a decision. So like, even after that interview, they then have to forward it back to that unit. So of course, that's going to make it take more time, because it's like you're sending files over there and you're sending files back. Is it a good time to file an I-130 green card holder petition? Spouse is a B1, B2, accrued unlawful presence. What is the worst that can happen? So if you're a green card holder that is filing for a spouse that has accrued unlawful experience, accrued unlawful presence, it's not a good time. I wouldn't file unless you are about to be a U.S. citizen. If you're about to be a U.S. citizen, become a U.S. citizen. In the past, you're permitted to do that and request a 601A waiver. And if the waiver is approved, you can go back to the home country and finish. So it's a gamble. The worst that can happen is you'll be placed in removal proceedings. And if you're placed in removal proceedings, the question is going to be, what relief does the person have? So let me actually walk back what I said, because the answer is really going to depend on that person's immigration history, right? So what do I mean by that? Like, for instance, if you're a green card holder and you want to file for your spouse, and your spouse has been in the US without status, one of the things I'm going to look at is, do they have any relief in deportation? So Have they been here for up to 10 years? Are they eligible for non-LPR cancellation of removal? Because if they are, then sure, gamble. Submit the I-130 while you're waiting for the other person to do the green card, because if they place you in removal proceedings, you have that, and maybe you can show extraordinary hardship to your green card holder spouse. So the answer is not very simple. I mean, for most people, I would say, hold off if your spouse is a green card holder. This does not apply to U.S. citizens. So let me repeat and be clear. This does not apply to U.S. citizens. If you're a U.S. citizen, this is the best time to apply. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, this is the best time to apply, because this is the quickest, in my own experience, that people have gotten the interviews and green cards, applying the quickest time, 2 to 4 months or 5 months. If any of my clients are there that's fallen, that you can comment, so they know that I'm not playing around. Anyway, what am I talking about? Go to my page and check the dates. You can see the dates there yourself for the marriage-based cases. They're very quick. But if your spouse is a U.S. citizen, if your spouse is a green card holder, there are things that we would have to consider to determine whether or not it makes sense for you to file or not. If you are about to be a U.S. citizen, then that's fine. Get your citizenship, apply for your citizenship, and then roll the dice. Okay? Okay. Let's see what else we got. I have a violation for disorderly conduct. Can I travel outside of the U.S.? It's been resolved. Please, I have a green card. I applied for my citizenship already. If you apply for citizenship already, wait for your citizenship to be done. I can't answer you about CBP. CBP is up to them. It's really up to them what they want to do. So, in the past, this should not be a problem. But again, it's up to them. So since you already applied for citizenship, you probably will get your interview soon. Wait for your citizenship interview. Once you get it, then you're good. Okay? Someone said, Shanice said, don't move on muscle or even blink. Tana your yard, right? Exactly. Any updates on the 72 country pause? No. My friend did an interview 3 months ago. She got a paper after the interview. Is there anything to do? Since it's been 90 days, I'll say this is a good time to do an inquiry with USCIS and possibly congressional assistance to try to get them to make a decision. If there's something that they need, let them request evidence so that she can move on with her life. Okay? I live in Jacksonville. I filed for a marriage-based case in March of 2023, and I don't have a decision yet. Last time they told me my case is in the Jacksonville office. Any idea? Time for congressional assistance or mandamus. What happens in a valid case if you can't provide proof of a green card for abusers? Usually, if you don't have proof of your abuser's U.S. citizen status or green card holder status, one of the things that we can do is do a request to verify with the USCIS, but we like to include as much information as possible that will allow USCIS to find that person and match that person. So I would go as far as, like with the green card holder, if you know the alien number, if you know the social security number, if you know the birth date, if you know what's around the time or year that they got their citizenship, if you know around what city or state they were in, basically give them every clue that you can. Sometimes, for U.S. citizens, even in the marriage certificate, like I know New York, for instance, the marriage certificate will have the country of birth. So those are some of the things that you would have to do. Okay, guys, I gotta go, but I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Hang in there. Jordan, make sure you go for your biometrics. I am telling you, there's nothing to be fearful of to go for your biometrics, as long as you don't have a warrant for your arrest. If you don't have a warrant for your arrest, you should be going for your biometrics. If you have a warrant for your arrest, you should probably go to the police station and find out why you have a warrant. But otherwise, guys, keep your head up. It's not easy. It's not easy for you guys. It's not easy for us. And I will tell you guys, it's not easy for a lot of USCIS officers. Like, this is the first time, like, I've been in interviews where USCIS officers, they're exhausted. They're like, they don't like this. They just want to be able to make decisions, but the administration every Monday is like, here's a new memo, pause on this, pause. Don't do this yet. Don't do this. So it's frustrating for everybody, but you have to look for the good things in life. You got to look for the good things in life, because it's not an easy time to be in America. All right, guys, have a great day. All right, bye.